Excellency, Deputy Governor and Administrator. So we crave indulgence as we ask that you move forward to occupy the seats in front. As you may be aware, this is going to be a virtual event, and for our uptake, we please ask that members of the audience sitting behind move forward to center stage, sitting areas. Also, in case of an emergency, please do not panic. Safety marshals will locate you and help you find the nearest exit. To members of my dear colleagues, my fellow pressmen, please we ask that you acknowledge that the stage is sacred. Please do not approach the stage. We have a lot of VIPs here, sensitive materials, and because again it's a virtual event, please do not approach the stage until you're asked to do so. There will be a session for photographs. Pressmen, please do not approach the stage until you're asked to do so. We also ask that you please turn your mobile phones on silent. Again, we cannot overemphasize that it's going to be a virtual event, and we need the audio quality to be of the highest level. We're joined by several VIPs from across the country and even internationally during the virtual event. So we crave the indulgence that we ask that you please abide by these very important housekeeping rules. The members of the audience, please move forward towards the empty seats in front, please. Ms. Fatima and other ushers, please help our audience members move forward. There's so many empty seats in front of us. So we can start. We apologize for starting late, but we'll start as soon as you move forward. Thank you. Madame in the pink attire, I'm going to start calling ladies since everyone's refusing to move forward. The gentleman with the white face mask, okay, lady with a yellow barber, please move forward. Thank you. I saw a voice to tell you about it. Can we move forward? And you know, this was anyway. Your Excellency, the Executive Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, members of the Adamawa Executive Council present, members of the Adamawa Cabinet, honorable commissioners, local government chairmen, and other state dignitaries. Madam President, our vice presidents, top AUN administrators, our chief of party, our deputy chief of party, members of faculty, staff, and friends of the AUN. I'm Amina from University Relations. Today is a special day for the American University of Nigeria, the Atiku Center, the United States Agency for International Development. May I say what an absolute pleasure it is for me to be hosting an audience of your caliber this afternoon. Even though we find ourselves in a situation of uncertainty, the coronavirus has had such a devastating impact and our collective well-being, redeemed only by the learning opportunities that have arisen out of shared necessity. AUN has seized the opportunity to deconstruct learning models. In our scholarly community, you'll find kindred spirits, all dedicated to the improvement of society. That is why today we gather to celebrate a groundbreaking achievement, one that will impact the lives of over 500,000 children across the Northeast. And now, for opening remarks, I have the good fortune of introducing the Vice President of University Relations of the American University of Nigeria, who's representing the President of the American University of Nigeria.
His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, the proud state, the District Head of Jeddah is here with us, Honorable Commissioners and other government leaders, the Chief of Party, the State Project Director of ESDA, esteemed beneficiaries, dedicated and hard-working staff from the Akiti Center, project consultants, donors, other stakeholders, educators, healthcare professionals, the management and staff of the American University of Nigeria, press, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to another of AUN's countless humanitarian projects which are spread across the Northeast, a region bedeviled by over 10 years of insurgency. The Transactional Radio Instruction Program, which we are launching today, has become even more compelling at this time of social distancing and the COVID-19 pandemic is ravaging the nooks and crannies of the world. As a university community, we will continue to be proud of the Atiku Center for initiating and leading these projects, which have fundamentally changed the livelihoods and other conditions of affected communities in many ways and in different places. The essence of a university like AUN is to continually impact communities by identifying development challenges and exploring, defining, and deploying appropriate solutions. As a regional leader in highly qualitative education, with globally competitive facilities and manpower, AUN remains committed to its founding vision of opening doors of opportunity for everyone, including these young stars from Adamawa and Gombe states. These opportunities are rooted in our institutional philosophy as a development university, which is mission to change the narrative of educational delivery in our country. As this is not the beginning, it is definitely not going to be the end of our interventions in the region and beyond. In 2014, AUN pioneered the TAILOR project, that is the Technology Enhanced Learning for All, which empowered nearly 20,000 underprivileged children, mainly Marjories and youngsters from IDP families, who are fleeing the epicenter of insurgency in the Northeast. Since then, we have continued to launch and provide leadership to a variety of other humanitarian initiatives for the benefit of thousands of challenged families and communities. We hope that the beneficiaries of these projects in the pilot state of Gombe and Adamawa will make the best use of this uncommon opportunity. Nothing less is expected from the beneficiaries after donors and other aid workers have spent substantial time and energy thinking outside the box of the collective good of their progress and not merely for the selective goods of their land. All of these efforts would not have been made possible without the undaunting vision of our dear founder, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. We therefore thank him immensely for his vision and continued generosity to the university, for his ceaseless support to underprivileged Nigerians, and for his recognition and deployment of the Atiku Center in the service of his people and country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, the Vice President for University Relations, who's representing Madam President, Dr. Don Diko, the President of the American University of Nigeria. Because we're taking into cognizance the different faiths and creeds of all members here sitting today, we will, instead of a prayer, formally begin the occasion with the playing of the national anthem. So please, I pray your indulgence as I ask that we rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much. I don't know about you, but every time I hear the national anthem, a very patriotic fervor burns in my heart. It's good to be a Nigerian, despite the circumstances we might find ourselves in today. It's always good to be a Nigerian. Next on our agenda is a presentation by the Deputy Chief of Party. I'll tell you an interesting story because she comes to the podium. I had a brief conversation the other day with Dr. Grace. We're talking about how terrible the statistics of education in northern Nigeria is. And she gave me a sneak peek of what the Transactional radio instruction program will be. Nominally, our children are taught in English. And for us, in the northern part of Nigeria, it's a very big challenge because not all of us understand English very well. And so basic concepts that other children would pick easily because they understand the language, it's their first language, become extremely tasking for our children because English is not their first language. And so the Atiku Center, USAID, the TI, BESDA, DESDA, come together to put together a program that teaches the children in their mother tongue. So I think it's revolutionary. Please put your hands together as I introduce to you the woman in charge of this revolutionary learning technique, Dr. Grace Malgwi. Thank you, Amina. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, members of the Executive Council here present, the Honorable Commissioner of Education and Human Capital Development, Adamawa State, ably represented by the Adamawa State, by the Chairman of the Adamawa State Universal Basic Education Board, Alhaji Sali Atiku, the President of American University of Nigeria, ably represented by Professor Abatahim, AUN management here present, your Royal Highnesses here present, our local government chairman here present, our education secretaries here present, our partner in the person of the coordinator of Adamawa State VESNA, Dr. Muhammed Degereji, Her Excellency Haji Alhaji Atiku, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for us to be launching this program on this auspicious day. The Transactional radio program is a program that was necessitated by a change to the mode of implementation of the Strengthening Education in Northwest Nigeria project, SENS, which is a project funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. When USAID gave us this grant, we were charged with the responsibility of doing face-to-face tutoring, teaching in schools with teachers. But with the COVID-19 situation, we had to find a way to continue to engage with children, but this time not with teachers and not in schools. So our best option, based on the economic situation and our analysis of the parents of the children, the parents of our target children, we found that the radio was the best option. To ensure continuity in learning, as I said, we had already started the SENS project with face-to-face instruction in schools. And for us now to go back to switch to radio mode, we had to ensure that there was continuity in learning. And so the content of the radio program that is being launched today is taken from the core teaching and learning materials that we have used prior to COVID-19. And those materials are the Currenta, developed under a USAID funded project NEI+, and the Hausa Reading and Numeracy Activity RANA, which is also a Hausa literacy material developed by DFID, UNICEF, and FHI 360. These materials, as I said, were in use by SENS prior to COVID-19. And to make sure that there is a continuity in learning even with the radio program, these materials form the content of the radio program. Now, the approach adopted in the production of the Dandalin Karatu, which is the title of the SENS Hausa Literacy Program, sets it apart from other radio programs that are led by other organizations. What sets Dandalin Karatu apart is the fact that it has been modeled after a project that was implemented by the American University of Nigeria with funding from the United States Agency of Nigeria called the TELA project. Now, the TELA project, which is Technology Enhanced Learning for All, was funded by the United States Agency for International Development to reach children during the height of the insurgency. That radio program was implemented under a title called Transactional Radio Instruction Program, which is the TRI. Now, you might ask, what is TRI? Transactional Radio Instruction seeks to get learners to connect with the radio lesson by designing the lesson as a radio drama series, accompanied by easy-to-memorize songs. Now, the radio drama component of the SENS TRI is the inclusion of a male and female learner called Nana and Sally. Now, it is hoped that through Nana and Sally, the children will connect to the radio program because they have friends on radio. TRI, which is the Transactional Radio Instruction, is made up of four core components. These four components are sound pedagogy, stories, songs, and synchronized workbook. Now, the sound pedagogy, as I said, is taken care of because the content of the radio program is derived from materials that have been produced using the best practices in early grade reading, Karanta and Rana materials that are being used by Sense and by BESDA in Adamawa and Gombe states are materials achieving reading competencies in early grade readers. The stories, each lesson on the transactional radio begins with a story, and this story is made even more interesting and engaging because a technique of prediction is used in presenting the story, which increases learner participation and also helps them to remember the story. Another core component of the transactional radio instruction are the songs. Each lesson is interspersed with songs that are easy to memorize, and they are curriculum approved because the songs are taken from the Rana curriculum that is being used in Adamawa by both Sense and BESDA. Now, the synchronized workbook is also an important component of the transactional radio. This component helps seek to engage the learners doing something as they listen. You have children listening to a program for 30 minutes, you want to engage them doing something. And so the synchronized workbook engages them in tracing letters, in completing letters, in copying words, and then in writing out syllables. So by doing that, along with the teacher on radio, the children are more engaged, and that's why we call it transactional radio instruction. The structure of the radio program is as follows. At the beginning, we have the children sauraron labari. So the program begins with children suna sauraron labari. After the sauraron labari, the teacher asks them questions. So we go to Auna fahimtan labari. After Auna fahimtan labari, the next part of the radio program is gane haruffa da sautukansu. Bayan an gane haruffa da sautinsu, we move to syllable reading, which is karatun gabba. After karatun gabba, the children are led to put gabba together, which is put syllables together to yi karatun kalma. And saying karatun kalma, the next thing is put words together to make sentences, and so they do karatun jimla. Now the jimla, or the sentences for each lesson, are decodable. Decodable in the sense that only the sounds that have been learned are used in making the sentences that they read. So the jimla are decodable sentences. And at the end of each episode, we have our revision, which is Wewaya. The script for each lesson, we have 13 episodes for this first session of transactional radio instruction. We have 13 episodes. Each lesson was developed by Sense. The script was scripted by our Sense staff. And then audio recording, the voiceover was done by staff of Sense. The recording and editing was done by a Yola-based media solution consultant. And then each episode was recorded and given to us on a device which we then give to the radio station, which is Gotel AM FM, who air the program for us. To ensure, because with radio, you don't know the extent of its reach, and with Sense and the American University of Nigeria and USAID quality is a key component of our delivery. And so, 2 quality level checks are included in the production of the program. The first quality check is at the lesson level, lesson script. So each lesson script is sent for quality check by a professor of Hausa language and pedagogy. Once it goes through that first quality check, it is brought back, and then the voicing over is done, and then the recording, the sound effects and the ambience are added. And then the recorded version is sent again for the second level of quality check to our Hausa language consultant, who this time looks for language use and then effectiveness of the communication. The programs, each episode is a 30-minute episode, and it's aired on Hotel FM for Adamawa, and then Progress FM for Gombe. Because Sense, Strengthened Education in Northeast Nigeria, funded by United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is being implemented in Adamawa and Gombe State. The duration is 30 minutes, and because we have funding to reach a particular number of targets, we are glad for the collaboration with the Better Education Service Delivery in Adamawa. There's a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go along with a friend. And we found a friend in Besda, Adamawa, who have come to support the reach of this radio program by providing workbooks to target audience that Sense cannot provide workbook to, because we have a target audience. We have target beneficiaries. It is our hope that this program will be widely accepted and achieve the goal for which it has been produced. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Degereji, for that very insightful introduction to what the TRI is all about. Next on our agenda, we have Mr. Stephen Medugu, who will talk to us about the homeschooling approach. Mr. Stephen Medugu, will please come to the stage in front of you.
The representative of the governor, Honorable Cloud Said, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, the representative of Honorable Commissioner of Education, Dr. Muhammed Degereji, the coordinator of BESDA, the president of AUN, represented by Apatayu, the executive who is here with us, Dr. Salih Atiku, Her Excellency Hajia Ladi Atiku, our traditional fathers, our honorable chairman of local government, education secretaries, all education stakeholders, good evening. My job here is a little bit simple. I am to explain to you the structure and how operational is from schooling program, transactional radio instruction. You wonder, say, how is it going to be possible? Earlier on, Dr. Grace explained the nitty-gritties and the details of the content of this radio program. For me, is to tell you how does it work. We start simple by us engaging the parents at the community level. We also engage with the head teachers. We engage with OCR, the education secretary, as well as the traditional rulers, to create awareness that this program exists and we are going to take advantage of this program. The education secretaries have been so wonderful. They are so helpful. This message has gone down the entire communities of Adamawa State. Next is what we are here to do today, launch the program. As we are live on here now, we have parents ready to switch on their radio. And that is what we expect of the parents. The first thing we did was we distributed all the workbooks to the learners. As we are talking here today, all of our learners have been reached with the workbooks. The same thing with the target beneficiaries of PESDA. All of them have received the workbook. So our learners are just waiting now, eagerly waiting for this program to take place. How does it work? First, we have been able to sensitize parents to get set to their radios by 4 p.m. Thursdays and Tuesdays. Tuesdays, first hearing, then repeat broadcast on Thursdays by 4 p.m. This session is for 30 minutes as it was earlier said. But the unique thing about it is that this time around we'll be asking who are the teachers? Who is going to drive this? Who is going to ensure that the learners listen? We have been able to sensitize our parents and guardians to do that. And they are ready, set now, ready for us to start broadcasting of this radio program. Next, we have engaged another set of volunteers. We call them community education volunteers. The community education volunteers are members of the community that we encourage these parents to ensure that they tune on the radio to their children and they also follow these learners to the workbook in the right place. There are so many questions, assuming parents are not literate. We have a good number of these community education volunteers who will be observing the COVID-19 protocol and ensure that they visit homes and support some of these children. The next level of this operation of the radio program is how do we monitor? We have engaged a good number of our staff to actually monitor. But at any level, we have school support supervisors. What we are used to with school support officers. These school support officers are also being trained on how to encourage and monitor that this learning is taking place. The education secretaries are with us here today. We were also properly oriented on how they are going to encourage the officers within their local government to ensure that we defeat quality education delivery of this program. So this is just the short operational level at which we are going to deliver this program, and it is going to work, inshallah. Thank you.
Dr. Stephen said, inshallah, it's going to work. We're very hopeful it will work. Thank you very much, Dr. Stephen. In these COVID times, you often find yourself walking past someone that you know and not recognize them because of their face masks. And even though we're an American institution, we hold true to our traditional beliefs. On that note, I'd like to recognize the presence of our many VIPs here with us. First is Hajia Ladi, you'll be recognizing her. She's an educational investor. She's the provider of the at schools, and also has a public school named after her by Adamawa citizens. So I want to recognize the presence of Hajia Ladi Atiku. Also, we have with us Dr. Sadi Wu, who's the chairman of SUDA. We have also Dr. Muhammed of the Transactional Radio Instruction, and that is why he's not here with us at this particular event. It is therefore my honor to represent him at this historic occasion and to read to you his words. The wealth of a nation depends on how educated its citizens are. Developed nations of the world still strive to provide the best education to their children because education is a right. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all sectors of human life, and education is no exception. It is estimated that the global economy will contract by 12% due to the impact of the pandemic. Education, as we all know, is one of the sectors most affected by the pandemic. Schools have been shut down for weeks. Global data indicates that children are set to lose at least 50% of instruction gains. So 50% of what they have learned in the past is likely to be lost. And in Africa, the percentage of loss is as high as 70% for many countries. In Nigeria, the pandemic has led to the loss of the whole of third term. This loss is much higher for children in lower primary who were just beginning to catch up on learning. COVID-19 has affected us in that the targeted impact to improve reading outcomes for 120,000 beneficiaries at the end of year 2 of the SENSE project is at risk of not being achieved. Time and related learning that is unlikely to be regained prompted the Strengthen Education in Northeast Nigeria State to develop a radio program to help learners acquire reading competencies while at home. The Transactional Radio Instruction Program will provide 13 episodes of lessons that learners will listen to and learn from through the use of synchronized workbooks. Working with Better Education Service Delivery, Adamawa and Gombe, TRI in Adamawa will reach all learners, including primary 1 to 3. These learners have been provided with work that they will use to engage more fully with the learning content to be broadcast on radio. We anticipate that over the course of 13 weeks, the transactional radio instruction will improve reading outcomes for over 500,000 learners. The commitment of SENSE is to bring about this improvement in the reading outcomes of all these 500,000 learners and counting. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gates. Unfortunately, we didn't start right on schedule. We had a very special feature of this whole program that was supposed to go at 4 p.m. exactly, and it's already live. So I will invite His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of our state, and Haja Nadia to please come towards this table here for the official launch of the program. And so Haja and His Excellency will just take the cover of this table up. We have a special radio there. And Fatima, can you please come help? As soon as they take off the cover, we'll turn on the radio and we'll all listen to the program that's going on live right now on Radio Hotel at Progress FM in Bombay. So Fatima, if you could please come forward. Yeah, responsibility. So they take off the camera and take the Thank you, Your Excellency.
Ku kare kanku daga coronavirus wato cutar shakewar numfashi ta COVID-19. Ya kamata ku ba da akalla tazarar mita 20 tsakaninku da juna. Ku kuma tabbatar kun sanya takunkumin fuska idan za ku fita daga gidajen. Ku tabbatar kun wanke hannayenku a koda yaushe, akalla na daƙiƙa 20 da ruwa mai gudana da sabulu. Bugu da ƙari, a kasance masu bin umarni ko shawarar hukumar NCDC.
And so this commemoration is just to show you what will happen in the homes of over 500,000 children. They will listen to very instructive, fun, educational programs on Mondays and Fridays, some days of the week, from 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So Your Excellency and Haja, thank you for witnessing the official launch of the TRI program. Thank you. And so now we can continue with the rest of our programming. Next on the agenda is a commitment by BESTA. And we have Dr. Muhammed Degereji who's going to talk to us about the BESTA commitment.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. The partnership between BESDA and SEND is considered as partnership between Adamawa State and SEND, because BESDA is a government program. We started the journey in the last quarter of last year, when we started running Rana and Jolly College for primary schools. Unfortunately now, since became interested to run a program, and they invited us for a partnership. The time we started the partnership, we were in 10 local governments, covering 949 schools. They now took over the remaining 11 local governments, covering 247 schools. While we were running the two programs, unfortunately came the COVID-19 lockdown, and all of us were thinking we are out. Very fortunate again, since approach they have a radio program, TRI, that we should consider and do. Having considered that science is contributing to the educational development of Adamawa State, we do not hesitate to make a contingency plan to join the program. Your Excellency, immediately Besda produced 56,331 workers for our P1 pupils in the 10th local, and we have fit into the program we have just launched. We are not stopping here. We are considering continuing with the Dwelling Quality Labor Program, though it may not be assessed, but the state government and Delta will consider doing that if the lockdown extends. Also, as the benefits of our partnership, we have agreed to conduct the first ever digital annual school census for Adamawa State this year. In this project, we have drawn partnership with Sense and UNICEF, and other program, World Bank, that just winded up last month, who produced the tablet, procured the tablet and other activities that are involved. With this, I would like to appreciate Sense being a formidable partner, and I want to assure the people of Adamawa State, with the partnership between Besda and Sense, we are going to push education in Adamawa State to a better. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for honoring this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Degereji. Also like to recognize the presence of some of our members of our scholarly community, the AVP for Security and Safety, Dr. Lionel Williams, and Dr. Karen Reeder. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Because this is a virtual event, longer joining us virtually, even if it's not with us physically, it's been with us virtually in spirit. We must pay homage to him because he was the reason why the American University of Nigeria is here, and as a consequence, the reason why the Atiku Center and the USA program is being launched today. On that note, I'd ask that you turn to the left as we receive a goodwill message from our dear founder.
Members of faculty,
Your Excellencies, Honorable Commissioners, President Dekul, members of faculty, staff of the Atiku Center, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I feel profoundly honored for the invitation to speak at the launching of the Transactional Radio Instruction Program. This program was put together by the Atiku Center for Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Development of the American University of Nigeria, Yola. It was done in collaboration with the United States Agency for International Development and the World Bank's Better Education Service Delivery for All program. Experience has taught me that there is a very strong correlation between one's standard of living and the quality of education that one was able to get while growing up. Countless examples abound, which amply demonstrated that quality education is a key that opens up opportunities for improved standard of living for everyone. But most significantly, for the orphans and children from less privileged homes. My life and the modest success that came my way were largely the result of the modest but qualitative education that I was able to get while growing up in northern Nigeria. It was this belief that influenced my choice to personally invest substantially in bringing qualitative education to Nigeria. It was the same belief that created the vision of the American University of Nigeria. I am therefore most profoundly pleased to see the Atiku Center collaborating with these credible international development partners to reach and bring an estimated 500,000 out-of-school children into the virtual classroom. When in 2017, the World Bank approved the sum of $611 million US, based the program to, among other things, improve literacy and strengthen accountability for results in basic education in Nigeria. It was demonstrating global vision and leadership. And when the Atiku Center for Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Development led expert faculty and staff of the American University of Nigeria to design a unique plan for out-of-school children in the Northeast, that I had no idea how trailblazing it would become. As at the time the program is being launched today, the world has been gripped by a global health emergency, which has secluded everyone into some closed spaces, unable to experience the full benefits of society. At a time when the COVID-19 global pandemic has prevented contact among students and between students and their teachers and instructors, at a time when the world is emphasizing social distancing and avoidance of large gatherings, and at a time that calls for massive sanitization of spaces, tools, and almost every imaginable item of value, the design and launch of the Transactional Radio Instruction Program for teaching school children in the northeast of Nigeria has assumed some prophetic significance. I am glad to see that during these times of great uncertainties, the learning community at the American University of Nigeria, Yola, has opted to focus on providing solutions to tackle societal problems. Indeed, that should be the motivation of greatest significance for higher institutions of learning. An overriding dedication to providing informed, evidence-based solutions to problems in society. Let me therefore congratulate the Atiku Center for Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Development for bringing the American University of Nigeria's superior educational enterprise to provide leadership for an educational system in crisis. Starting with my beloved home state, Adamawa, and then on to Bombay, the Transactional Radio Instruction Program is effectively tailored to significantly improve learning outcomes. I am told that the TRI program is particularly biased towards early learners in primary 1, 2, and 3. This is the most fundamental stage in education. If we get it wrong here, then our children have little hope of staying the course of formal education or even joining formal employment in the future. There is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria's literacy rate of less than 59.6% is just on the brink of mediocrity. Before COVID-19, only 62.8% of young Nigerian children experienced a positive and stimulating home learning environment. But with TRI program, we will substantially increase the number of children learning in an exciting environment. With the promise of stories, songs, and synchronized workbooks, what more can make learning from the comfort of their homes more compelling for young children. I am grateful to the United States Agency for International Development for funding the Strengthening Education in the Northeast States program in Adamawa and Gombe states. The efforts of AUN President, Professor Don Dekel, the Chief of Party, Mr. Audu Liman, the instructional materials led Dr. Grace Malgwi, and the dedicated and hardworking staff of the Atiku Center are deeply appreciated. Our ambitious goal is to strengthen the education system through capacity building and development, as well as the provision of teaching and learning materials. This approach connects over 500,000 young learners with lessons through radio drama series accompanied by easy-to-memorize songs. My dream is to ensure equal access for all Nigerian children to quality education. With programs like the TRI, it is only a matter of time before this dream fully becomes realized. We must never let our daughters and sons down. Despite COVID-19, learning must continue. As parents, we struggle every day to make a living in the hope that we'll be able to build a better future for our children. But the world in which I grew up has evolved exponentially. We are now in a knowledge economy, one in which what you know and the information you have is more profitable than mindless laboring. The children we are struggling to educate today will define Africa's future. That is why we must invest in their education. We must reverse the age-long disparity between the northern and southern regions of Nigeria in terms of educational achievement. With quality education, we will reinvent the destinies of our children, the path their lives will take. Their dreams and aspirations are within reach. Few think me greater pleasure than the promise of prosperity for all. That is why I am reminded of my childhood. As a young man growing up in Nigeria, I remember a glorious north. Groundnut pyramids dwarf field workers stacking heaps of the precious seeds ready for export. Those were the days of an agricultural industry so productive the world marveled at our might. Today, we live daily with violence and conflict. Whatever our differences, creed, faith, and ideologies, we must come together. Together for our children, yours and mine. Education is the vehicle that will take us to the utopia we desperately yearn for. It is the path that will lead us to our glorious destiny, a magnificent destiny we aspire to reach with, in the words of Shakespeare, I quote, bated breath, and I quote. Thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate an important milestone on our journey to prosperity. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Now, for those of us who are very familiar with social impact or educational interventions in communities, you would agree with me that it's often very difficult to permeate local communities without the intervention or collaboration of state actors. And that's why this next speaker's speech and role is very pivotal to the success of our program today. The Education Commissioner is key to fostering unprecedented action and policy changes that must be made to transform the educational initiatives in Adamawa State. The Commissioner's unique portfolio has the ability to engender high-level commitment and attention from state actors. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the representative for education for a special speech.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State. I'm sitting in the Commissioner of Education, and it was an impromptu arrangement. I didn't know that I was coming here to present her and even to make a speech. I was coming here as the Executive Chairman of Adamawa State University Education Board. Well, the same, we are partners in progress, and I wish to say that I'm very happy to be happening here, and my board also there has been part and parcel of this program. The board and the Minister of Education, Senegalian, to make sure that our children are being taught in this COVID era at their homes. When Dr. Malgwi was presenting, I thought they were very interested because she tells stories and songs, rhymes, and short grammars to use in order to keep our children busy. In teaching and learning, stories and songs and rhymes and short grammars go a long way in teaching them. Whether it's topic or not topic. I think I want to praise the UN for putting this program on ground. And I wish to say that we as a board, our doors are wide open to partner with you to make sure that we keep our children as long as the country goes on. The thing that we have had from Radio Question has already become a household song. Whenever it is about to be 4 o'clock, our children are begin to sing even before the program begins. This shows how this thing has already gotten acceptance. So I congratulate you for your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We're going even one step higher than Commissioner to be Executive Governor of Adamawa State. And we reiterate that if we do not have the high level commitment, this program will not achieve as much success as we would expect. On that note, I would like to invite the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, who's representing the Executive Governor of the state.
The President of AUN, the representative of the Commissioner for Education of Adamawa State, local government chairman here present, the coordinator of this, that, the executive chairman of SHUBEC, Our Excellency, Ajay Atiku, Education Secretary is here present, our Royal Fathers here present, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I am highly delighted to be here today on the occasion of launching of this homeschooling through transactional radio instruction program, which is a collaborative effort to strengthening our education system. Education is one of the major focus of our government, and I am the then administration. I am happy to note that we are benefiting from this homeschooling through transactional radio instruction program, founded by United States Agency for International Development. The program is implemented by the American University of Nigeria in collaboration with Adamawa State Government through better education service delivery for all, to ensure that all children in Adamawa State get the best. We hope that the program will fully be implemented now that we are hopeful to overcome COVID-19. On behalf of the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmadu Fintiri, it is my honor to launch this transactional radio instruction program for the benefit of our children and the future of Adamawa State. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for that very inspiring speech. And we hope that in that speech, Adamawa State will live up to its commitment as a critical partner in our journey to educational prosperity. Because we're very keen on, we're moving very fast to the last item on our agenda. But to appreciate you for living your different works and other activities, I'd like to invite to the stage Hajia Toure Kadir to give the vote of thanks.
Excellency, Governor of the State, represented by the Deputy Governor, the President of the AU, Mrs. Dawn April, ably represented by the Vice President, Dr. Abubakar Abdul the Chairman today, the Honorable Commissioner of Education, the AU Plan Administrator, our Deputy Chief of Party, Mr. Grace Muhammed, Her Excellency Admiral other Honorable Commissioners, representatives of Delta, secretaries of local government authorities, members of the Activity Center, distinguished guests, members of the institution. Today, we are able to write this technical that deals with different COVID-19. It is full hope that the transactional radio will be beneficial for our children, especially those in primary 1 and indeed in all of the administration, because radio covers wider areas and opens to everyone who cares to receive. that list of 500. I'm really elated for the opportunity to meet different types. I, on behalf of the Activity Center, say again for 6 sensible express my gratitude and sincere thanks to His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, DCON, former Vice President of the Federal Government of Nigeria, whose thinking is always to propel the education.
Should I give this
despite the far
people
distance
this video, this journalist who don't want to use it for news?
create time to say the word in this important day. Thank you, Your Excellency. Let me also convey our best wishes to our chief guest, His Excellency the Governor Muhammed Degereji, who, despite his tight schedules, he was able to send his representative of the government on this occasion. Though it is a non-factor, those who know His Excellency very well will attest to the fact that anything that has to do with education, His Excellency takes it seriously. We appreciate you, Your Excellency, for your time and your words of wisdom. We must sincerely express our gratitude to His Royal Highness, that has always been supportive of this research project. Our dear alien President, I must say that without the outstanding quality of your leadership, we would not have gathered here today. You always inspire us and move us to achieve higher than what we expect. Thank you, Madam President. We have been fortunate to have the support of the Commission of Education, who is unable to be here, but ably represented. You have been a constant support, and you have given us a lot of encouragement. Thank you, Madam, for sharing this with us, your words of wisdom. I thank our respected royal, retired honorable Mr. Speaker, honorable members, and honorable commissioners for gracing this occasion. Our heartfelt thanks go to the education secretaries across 21 local governments of the state who are very serious about the TRI. They have been always motivating us in every step we take about this program by reassuring us of their unflinching support towards its success. Last but not least, I thank all the staff of the center based for making this event a success. I once again thank you everyone for making this program a success. Wish you all safely back to your beautiful destination. May Allah bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Hajia Turing Kadir. Before we go, we have to take stock of everything we've done here today. It's a very memorable photograph, and I will announce the procession for the photograph. First, we have the Deputy Governor and members of the High Table, who's was a professional photographer who's going to arrange the picture. So if you can ask the members of the High Table to step down, just right in front of the special security agents here. The Deputy Governor, members of the High Table.
Call Ahmed. He has to come and take the pictures now. See him at the back as well.
This is a different kind of school, a farm school.
So members of the High Table will be standing right in front of the High Table.